Are we ready?
Muko mbali leo. Chamutai. So far.
We are drifting apart.
Hey.
That far is better than and these are our people.
There's no tear gas around, so don't be so far.
No. If they come nearer, they carry fewer.
Yeah.
Oh. Let them carry from there.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen of the press, this is the leadership of Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party, together with the delegates to the proposed bipartisan discussions that are scheduled to be beginning shortly. So we have a statement which is going to be read by Honorable Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka on our behalf. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning, or is it up to late this afternoon, the leadership of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party, including those from the Houses of Parliament, met with our delegates to the envisaged national dialogue to review developments on the envisaged talks. Any reasonable observer of the happenings in the last few weeks will agree with us that Kenya Kwanza has no intention whatsoever of holding any dialogue at all, let alone one that is honest, transparent, and bipartisan. They have exhibited absolute bad faith from the beginning, and we will highlight the same as follows. Number one, when Honorable Ruto invited us for talks, he did not in his speech capture the entire framework for talks as had been agreed upon with the emissaries he sent to us. This includes leaving out key issues on the cost of living and electoral justice, which are of utmost importance to us and the people of Kenya. Number two, the delay in naming his team is another sign of a lack of seriousness that has been made worse by the inclusion of members of the Azimio coalition in his team, when the whole country knows that respect for multi-party democracy is one of the key issues we have put on the table. Number three, to date, Kenya Kwanza has failed to name the leadership of his team as a way of stonewalling. Number four, last evening, we learned of a motion drafted by Kenya Kwanza leadership, allegedly aimed at setting up a joint select committee in Parliament. The motion is in absolute bad faith for the following reasons. A, we have insisted on an extra-parliamentary process in view of the strictures of debate in Parliament. We will therefore not participate in any such parliamentary process. B, the motion is disguised as a product of bipartisanship, when in fact the leadership of Azimio in Parliament were neither aware nor consulted in its drafting. C, the motion proposed to name members of the minority party to the so-called Select Committee without any reference to the minority leadership in violation of the standing orders of both houses. And D, the motion purports to set the terms of reference and scope of the discussions without any reference to us. We continue to insist that the dialogue must be about all the 4 issues, namely the cost of unga, fuel and electricity, forensic audit of the servers, bipartisan reconstitution of the IEBC, and respect for multi-party democracy. Kenya Kwanza cannot dictate to us what we cannot bring to the table. So given the foregoing, we as the leadership of the coalition have resolved as follows. Number 1, we remain committed to an extra-parliamentary dialogue that is honest, transparent, meaningful, and bipartisan in conception and execution. Our members of parliament in both houses shall not be party to any other process, and particularly not the one proposed in the motion by Kenya Kwanza. Number 2, we have instructed the chairperson of our team, Senior Counsel Otiendo Molo, to formally invite the Kenya Kwanza team for a meeting to set the ground rules for the talks. Number 3, our issues remain what we said before, and they are reduction in cost of unga, fuel, electricity, and school fees, opening and audit of IEBC servers, bipartisan reform and reconstitution of IEBC, reinstatement of the 4 IEBC commissioners, and end to the buying of MPs, which threatens multi-party democracy. Number 4, we reiterate the call that the regime must immediately take up the hospital bills of all Kenyans who sustained injuries as a result of police brutality during the recent protests and demonstrations, and pay reparations for those who lost their property and their lives. Number 5, that the coalition shall resume its weekly protests at the end of Ramadan, and further communication in this regard will follow. I thank you. Good. Sawa.
Maswali tafadhali, kama kuna swali.
Pengine baada ya iftar.
Asante.
I think maelewa hii kitu ni continuous, very very clear. So karibuni sana.